Deep under the ground, an army stands in the dark. Thousands of silent clay soldiers wait, their eyes open, watching nothing. Each face is different, a real person frozen in time, and they were not made for us to see. They were meant to be forgotten. A secret army built to guard a dead emperor in his long sleep. They were buried to stay hidden forever, and for more than 2,000 years, they did. Their only job was to keep watch in the endless quiet. Then, in 1974, some farmers in China were looking for water. The ground was very dry. A man named Yang Jifa and his brothers were digging a well, hoping to save their village. They were not looking for old secrets. They were just looking for something to drink. Their shovel hit something hard. It was not a rock. When they pulled it from the dirt, it was the head of a man made of clay. Its eyes were open, staring up at them from the earth. Long before the farmers found the clay soldier, a man wrote a warning. He wrote about the emperor's secret tomb. He said the tomb was not just a quiet place. It was a machine. A very old, very patient machine made to kill. Inside the dark, he wrote, "There are crossbows. They are big and strong. They were set up to shoot arrows at anyone who walks through the door. Craftsmen made them, and then they were left alone in the black. For 2,000 years they have waited. The wood did not rot. The strings did not break. They just sit there, aimed and ready. They do not sleep. They do not get tired. They are waiting for a sound, a footstep, a breath. They are waiting to do the last job they were ever given, and the arrows were not the only trap. The writer spoke of other dangers, of things that flow in the dark and protect the emperor forever. They were afraid. They thought they had woken up a ghost, but it was not just one head. Soon they uncovered the body of a life-sized soldier. Then they found another and another. They had broken into a place no one was ever meant to find. They had uncovered a silent, waiting army. This army serves only one man. His name was Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of all China. He was a man with great power who was very, very afraid of dying. He wanted to cheat death and rule forever, even from his grave. The emperor joined the lands together, but he was a cruel ruler. He made people fear him. His need for power was so big that it reached past his own life. The clay army was his way to keep his power, even in the world of spirits. To build his final resting place, old stories say he forced over 700,000 people to work. They were prisoners and poor men, taken from their homes to build a palace under the ground. For many years they worked until they could not work anymore. Many of them died there. They died from the hard work, or they were killed to keep the emperor's secrets safe. Their bodies were left behind, buried in the same dirt as the treasures they were forced to make. And so, the local people whisper a different story. They say the real curse is not the clay soldiers. It is the sad, angry spirits of the workers who built the tomb. They are still trapped there, their ghosts wandering in the dark, forever guarding the man who was their master. The farmers who woke the army found no treasure. Their great discovery brought them only sadness. The government took their land for the silent soldiers. They were paid very little for finding a wonder of the world. Their lives began to fall apart. One of the brothers, a man named Yang Yanshin, became so sad that he took his own life. The other farmers who helped dig that day also faced sickness and bad luck. It was as if they had disturbed something that wanted to stay asleep. The curse they woke was not just for them. It seemed to touch the soldiers too. When the clay warriors were first pulled from the earth, they were not a dull gray. They were painted with bright, beautiful colors. Rich reds, deep purples, and shining greens. They looked alive, but a strange thing happened. Within minutes of touching the air, the colors would vanish. The 2,000-year-old paint would flake off and turn to dust right before their eyes. It was like watching a ghost fade away, leaving only a gray shell behind. This army of ghosts is only a guard. They stand watch outside the true center of the curse. The emperor's own tomb has never been opened. It sits under a huge dirt mound, silent and waiting. People know exactly where it is, but no one dares to go inside. They are afraid of what they might find. They fear the emperor's anger, a power that has waited in the dark for thousands of years. The fear is not new. It is a very old warning. It is a story passed down through time, a story of what lies beneath that quiet hill. That warning comes from a writer who lived long ago. His name was Sima Qian, and he wrote about the emperor's tomb just 100 years after it was built. He knew the secrets that were buried there. He wrote that the tomb was a tiny copy of the world. The ceiling was covered in pearls, set like the sun, moon, and stars in the night sky. The floor was a map of the emperor's whole kingdom, but this map was not made of dirt or stone. The writer said it was made of something much more dangerous. He wrote of rivers and seas that flowed inside the dark tomb. Rivers made not of water, but of poison. The old writer, Sima Qian, wrote down the most terrifying secret of all. He said the floor of the emperor's hidden tomb was a map of China, and on that map, the rivers and oceans were not made of water. They were made of flowing, liquid mercury, a poison sea that would move forever. For hundreds of years, people thought this was just a scary story, a legend to keep robbers away. How could anyone make rivers of poison? It seemed impossible. A wild tale from a time long ago. The story was told in whispers, but no one truly believed it could be real. Then, in the 1980s, scientists tested the dirt in the big hill that covers the tomb. They pushed long, thin tubes deep into the earth, and what they found made the old story feel cold and real. The soil was full of mercury, far more than should be there. The poison was real. Think about a fear so big that you would build a tomb that could kill. The emperor did not trust magic alone to guard him. He used real poison. He made a trap that would last longer than any castle, longer than any army of living men. But the poison is not the only trap. There is another fear here. It is not a king's magic. It is a deep human sadness. The ground itself remembers their pain. The local people say it is not the emperor you wake. You wake the endless anger of all the souls who were lost here. Their sorrow is the real guard. His dark mind planned a defense that would never sleep. The curse of the army is not just a story of angry ghosts. It is something you can touch. The real danger is not the silent soldiers standing outside. The real danger is the tomb they protect. They are the wall, but inside that wall is a poison world made by a king who wanted to rule even after death. And so the soldiers stand and watch. They were pulled from the dark earth and put into a museum for all to see. But their job has not changed. They were built for one reason, to guard their emperor. Every single statue still faces the unopened tomb. They are still on duty. Their empty eyes are not looking at us. They are looking at the hill, at the secret door that no one has ever opened. They are still the eternal guard. The story of the farmers who lost everything, the whispers of spirits who built the tomb, the strange feeling of being watched by clay eyes. It all points to this one dark place, the center of the fear, the unopened heart of the curse. They are not just old art. They are a warning, a silent army, forever at their post, guarding a tomb that is too dangerous to open. Their watch has not ended, and maybe it never will. The empty eyes of the clay soldiers seem to follow you. People who work near the pits say they feel it, a cold, heavy feeling of being watched by thousands of silent guards. It is a feeling that does not go away even when the sun is out. This fear is not just an old story. Modern workers and scientists have felt it too. They talk in low voices about strange sounds in the night. They speak of tools that move on their own. It is as if the place itself does not want them there, pushing them away with a quiet, unseen force. All of this comes from one man, the Emperor Qin Shi Huang. He wanted to rule forever, even after he was gone. His tomb was not just a resting place. It was a dark palace for his spirit, built with the lives of others. His shadow is long, and it still covers this land. The real heart of the fear is the part no one has ever seen. The Emperor's own tomb. It sits under a huge mound of earth, a silent hill holding the biggest secret. The clay army is just the guard at the gate. The true danger lies deep inside, waiting in the dark. We have machines that can see through the ground, but we cannot open the tomb. To do so might break everything inside. The air could turn old silks to dust in a moment. And then there are the traps, still waiting after 2,000 years. The Emperor's plans were made to last. Think about the poison inside. The rivers of mercury were not just a story. Scientists have tested the soil on the hill above the tomb. They found so much mercury, far more than should be there. It has likely turned into a poison gas, filling every corner of the tomb, a silent cloud that kills. So the tomb is not a dead place. It is a living trap. The mercury flows like silver rivers. The crossbows are still ready to fire. It is a place that actively waits. It is a beast, sleeping under the earth, and no one wants to be the one to wake it. And what if there is another curse? Not one of traps or poison, but of the spirit. A final warning from the Emperor to anyone who breaks his eternal peace. A curse that follows you home, into your dreams, a madness that cannot be cured. Some things are better left alone. The tomb could hold so much knowledge, books and maps and things we have never seen. It could tell us so much about the past, but that knowledge is protected by a great fear. The risk is too high. The secrets of the first emperor will stay secrets, locked away by his powerful curse. So the army stands watch, in perfect rows, in the quiet dark. Each soldier is a silent promise. They promise that their emperor still rules his underground kingdom, and they promise that anyone who tries to enter will have to face them first, and whatever comes after,